under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let the record show that all board members are present and accounted for, with Trustee Nubia Cardona on with us remotely. There were no actions taken in closed session. And at this point, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Been moved in second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Roll call. Oh, I'm sorry. I totally forgot. We have to do roll call. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please say nay. Trustee Cardona?
No.
Aye. Yeah, we have to do, all of our votes, I forgot, have to be roll call since you're remote. So in the adoption of the agenda, you cannot hear me. How about now?
No.
Can you hear me now?
The Zoom's on mute.
No.
Is our Zoom muted?
Yeah.
Oh. How about now? Can you hear me now? How about now? Our camera's off as well.
So the camera shows the board right next to hers,
Oh,
right now.
just because I noticed down the thing there, it says video camera off. Can you hear me?
No.
Can you hear me, Nubia? You've got to love technology, folks. Okay, I'm going to keep talking in the event that she might hear us pretty soon.
Can we do the rest of the
Okay.
roll call vote and then?
Yes, we'll do the rest. Well, I don't want to do the vote until we can,
Okay.
yeah, because then we can't really do anything else.
Extra, come back in.
Nubia.
Yeah, I was looking for this.
Oh,
okay.
Can you hear us?
Now I can hear you.
Now you can hear us.
we can hear you.
Okay. I think we're hearing ourselves though now too.
Yes, I can hear the echo.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking I need to get it plugged, like maybe I have to plug myself in. But no,
All
we're
right.
good.
Okay, well, we're going to go ahead, and so a motion is on the table to approve the agenda, and because you're remote, we're doing everything via roll call vote. So all those in favor of adopting the agenda, say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Trustee Cardona? Now you can't hear me again?
Okay, now good, now good. It
Okay.
goes in and out.
All those in favor of adopting the agenda will say aye. All those opposed, say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
All right. Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes? Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Hi.
And I vote aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, now we'll move on to communications. Members of the public may address the Board of Trustees regarding any special board meeting agenda item during the board consideration of that item. Please note that if you wish to address the Board of Trustees on an agenda item, you should do so when that specific item is called for by the board president. In order to present in person, please fill out a request to be heard card and give it to the board assistant, and your name will be called during public comment agenda on that agenda item or during that specific agenda item. Comments are limited to 2 minutes. If you are commenting via Assembly Gamut meetings, enter your name and email address, and the board assistant will provide your comment to the board. Additionally, if you are commenting via YouTube, just simply type your name into the live chat, and the board assistant will share your comment with the board as appropriate. Now is the time for members of the public to address the board on items that are not on the agenda. Please note that because they are not agendized items, we cannot take action. We likely will not be commenting on them, but do know that we are listening and that we will do our best to try and address your concerns. With that, we have one person who would like to address the board on an item that is not on the agenda, and that would be Lacey Asil? Echo.
Yes, just so the audience. Online.
Hi, good afternoon, evening. My name is Lacey. I'm from Main Avenue. My daughter attends there, and I'm part of their PTC program. I just wanted to come today and take an opportunity to invite the board and their family and friends to our Flapjacks with Family and Friends Pancake Brunch. We're hosting it at Main Avenue on April 25th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. We are pre-selling tickets if you guys are interested in eating. There's going to be a really good selection of some brunch items on the menu, some outdoor games, and just taking in the sunshine. Tickets right now on pre-sale are $5 for adults, $3 for kids. But we would love you guys to come in, say hi, meet the families for Main Avenue's PTC and our school. We're just trying to get you involved in our community and wanted to extend that invite.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, now do we have anyone who would like to address the board? Anyone on Gamut or on YouTube?
Can we see if Nuvia muting when she's not talking gets her the feedback? Oh, she is. Okay. Never mind.
Okay, now we'll move on to reports, and we'll start with the Robla Education Foundation. Oh, just stepped out. We'll come back to him. Oh, there he is. You just had to make a grand entrance?
I was recruiting.
Oh, okay.
The more I recruit, the less you have to be at the booth for some of you.
I appreciate you thinking of us.
But you're going to be there every night. We've
take it-
also had one other person signed up to be there every night. So,
Oh, joy.
plus our driver. So I think our nights are locked up.
Sounds like a plan. Looking forward to it.
Anyways, the only other thing that we have on the agenda tonight is the Terrific 10 books where the orders were taken this morning, and it's already been sent out, and we should have them back within a couple weeks. If I don't do it when it's on my mind, it doesn't get done. That is all. Any questions?
No,
Thank you for
keep
all
up the
that
good
you
work.
do. Yeah.
Okay, next do we have a report from the Robla Teachers Association? How about CSEA? Superintendent's report.
Good evening, just a couple of things. Ooh, big on there. Last week I had the opportunity to attend the California Asian American Pacific Leaders in Education Conference with Ms. Tran from Glenwood and Ms. Cabras from Taylor, so that was really, really good. And the night that I returned on Wednesday, I was able to attend our first ever district literacy night, right? And I want to give kudos to our community school liaisons. They really did a good job. It was held at Glenwood, and we probably had about 150 people attend. So I think it was about a little over 50 families, but about 150 people attended. Monday, we had our full staff development for the entire district. Reading Across America, Read Across America is happening throughout the month. Usually it's like a day, but the schools are doing it throughout the month. I was able to read at Glenwood, Taylor, and today at Maine. As Mr. Raven said, we had a wonderful, terrific 10, and I'm so excited that they already turned in their orders. They always get excited when I show their certificate and the money and then the little booklet that they get to pick out. And I said, you have to pick it out because Mr. Raymond's going to contact your teacher. So we had predominantly lower elementary kids. I think I had 5 kinder kids and 2 first graders. And usually when I worry about that, I'm not sure if they'll speak, but ooh, this group, they had no problem of sharing their feedback with questions I asked as well as how they thought of the food. They're like, we had a couple of these. Today was our first soccer game. There were 2 games. Maine played against Taylor at Taylor, and then Glenwood played against Bell at Bell. So the families, I only attended Taylor's, and it was great. The kids were great, the families were great, you know, they really appreciated our new fields, right? So we're excited, but it was really hot. I think over 80s, especially on the fields. And then spring break is coming up. We will not have a meeting before that, so I wanted to remind families that spring break is March 30th through April 10th. And we still have openings for our spring break camp. We sent out a message via Parent Square, but I did ask all the principals to resend it. So we still have spaces available. And it will be held at Robla Elementary this spring. That's it. That's the end of my report. Thank you.
All right, now move on to board member reports. We'll start with trustee Cardona.
Nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Okay, trustee Devine,
Nothing to report.
trustee Barnes,
Nothing to report.
trustee Hamilton Starks,
Nothing to report.
and I have nothing to report. Mo- I thought someone was sending me a message down there.
No, sorry, it's like sharing.
Okay, now we'll now move on to presentations and information, and we'll start with the first reading revised policies, regulations, and/or exhibits.
Let me just give a couple contexts, because what you have for first reading is board policy and admin reg for 1445. In alignment with AB 49, they recommend that districts have a policy in the 1000 series. The 1000 series is community relations, right? What we currently have are policies to address law enforcement and immigration in the 5000 series, which is specific to students, right? And so when you look at, and this, we've never had this policy, so it's all brand new. When you look at it, it is in reference to not just students, it's students and staff. And the practice that we have been implementing is that no immigration enforcement is allowed, will have access, so let me do it on positive. Immigration enforcement will not have access to our student, staff, or records unless they have like a subpoena or warrant or court order. So we will continue with that. And then at the next meeting, if you choose to approve this or in some version of it, I will want to update board policy in the 5000 to ensure that our policies with students are aligning with those for community relations.
So my only thing is, because as I understand it, our policy when it comes to immigration enforcement is the same with law enforcement, period.
It is. However, I did a little bit more research. There are times where we have law enforcement who have come to campus to interview students because of a potential CPS report, for example, right? They don't have a court order to speak to our students, but they are doing an investigation following up a report. So we can look to see how we can align it, right? Because we do already have policies how law enforcement can have access, or what situations they can have access to our students, right?
I guess, because in terms of our policies, what I'd like to make sure is that we have a consistent policy, and I have no problem with the policy itself, but I think the policy should be consistent for enforcement of all laws, not just immigration laws, not just, I guess that's the main thing, is that to single out one particular section of laws and how we're going to allow them to be enforced versus all laws. Yeah, so I guess I want to make sure that it's all aligned. Any additional questions or comments?
The only other question that I had was thinking about what are the discrepancies between policy 1445 and policy 51, yeah.
Any additional comments or questions? All right, we'll move on now to item B, the 2025-26 second interim report and positive certification.
Good evening, everyone. So tonight I am here to, excuse me, not cough into the microphone, present to you the second interim report for fiscal year 25-26 and ask for your vote to positively certify. And before I get started, just a couple of reminders. What the second interim report is, it gives the district the opportunity to adjust the budget for the year based on actual activity through January 31st. So the numbers you're going to see tonight are budget, not actual numbers, but they're based on actual activity through the end of
But the adjustment, this is what the approved budget, or does this include changes that have been made based on the activity?
This includes the changes that have been made.
Got it. Okay.
I'm making that, but if maybe in July you budgeted books at $1 million based
Mhm.
on activity through January 31st, it may now be $1.5 million,
Okay.
whatever. But the numbers you see here include the changes.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So here is the budgeting and reporting timeline. As you can see, the different things that occur during the fiscal year. And right now, we are at the second interim report, which has to be adopted no later than March 15th. Now, the district can self-certify in one of three ways. Positive means the district will meet our minimum obligations for the current year and the 2 subsequent years. Qualified means we may not, and negative means we will not. Now, we are presenting the report and asking you to approve it with a positive certification. There are a lot of acronyms, as you all well know. So here are some of the more common ones, or more, I'd say popular, but ones that are used the most: LCFF, LCAP, EPA, LREBG, REU, and MYP. Now, so to look at changes in revenue since the first interim report, which was done back in December, our LCFF revenue has gone down by about a little under $173,000. Our federal revenue has gone up by about almost $17,000. Our state revenue went up by just over $1 million, and that's mainly, as it says there, we got increases in our ELOP allocation and our Prop 28 allocation, as well as we got the Literacy Coaches Grant Program.
And those are restricted funds, correct?
That is correct.
And just to add, the Literacy Coaches Grant Program was awarded to Taylor Elementary only.
Local revenue went up by almost $52,000 due to an increase in Medi-Cal revenue. Our total revenue change since first interim is a $943,000 increase. Graphically, that is how our revenue budget is split up at this point. Our LCFF sources are just under $29 million. Our federal revenue is almost 1.8 million. Our state revenue is just over 10 million. Other local revenue is 2.3 million, for a total revenue budget at this point of $43,285,379.
On average, what is the percentage of most school districts? What's their federal funds? What's usually the usual percentage of their budget that it tends to be?
Percentage as a percentage of the whole revenue
Yeah,
budget?
yeah.
I mean, it varies because a lot of it varies depending on, of course, on factors like enrollment and ADA, but I would say federal, probably anywhere from, I've seen it as low as 2%. I've been in districts where it's been as high as 17 or 18%.
Okay.
But it can vary. There's a pretty big swing.
Okay.
Now let's look at expenditure changes. Certificated salaries went up by just over $78,000. Classified salaries went up by $126,000. Benefits went up by $108,000. Books and supplies went up by just under $400,000. Other operating expenses went up by about a little over $800,000. Capital outlay went down a little bit, $8,500. Other outgo went up by about almost $15,000, for total expenditure change since first interim of $1,534,304. And here is graphically how our expenditure budget is divided. Certificated salaries are about 15.8 million. Classified salaries are just under 7 million. Benefits are 10.2 million. Books and supplies are 2.6. Other operating expenses are 9.6. Capital outlay is just under $1 million, for a total expense budget of $46,406,812. At second interim, as I mentioned at first interim, if you look at the graph, you'll add up and you look at certificated classified salaries and benefits, it adds up to 71%. However, the lion's share of our salaries and benefits are in the district's unrestricted budget. This graph is restricted and unrestricted combined. So I think it's real important to look at salaries and benefits in the unrestricted budget because that's where most of them are. And our unrestricted budget, salaries and benefits are just over 81% of the budget, of the unrestricted budget.
So, Mr. Logan, just to, sorry, Mr. Martin, sorry. So, this is up to January. Our total revenue and expenses, so we're at a negative 3 million? Okay, up to date?
Yeah, I saw that too.
Contributions. There are our, excuse me, there are the contributions as of right now from the unrestricted general fund. I want to draw your attention to those last four. Those are your special ed related contributions. And of that $6.7 million total, about 5 million of it is special ed related. It's important to realize that I'll beat the horn, as I'm sure the superintendent will as well. Special ed is woefully underfunded. The one on that list that we are required to do is the restricted maintenance right in the middle. But again, a district cannot run an effective special ed program without contributions. Part of the preparation for the interim report is the multi-year projection of the MYP, but there are certain assumptions that I make or that I take when I'm preparing it. The projections include a 2% increase for step and column advancement for both certificated and classified. The projections include the 2% salary increase for 26-27. They include the absorption of the Learning Recovery Emergency Block Grant activity back into the general fund for 26-27. They include increased staffing due to projected enrollment increases. And they include a 10% increase for utilities both in 26-27 and then again in 27-28. In terms of projected enrollment increases, based on the cohort survival model that we use, these are our projected enrollment numbers and ADA numbers going out through 29-30.
What of our enrollment numbers? I mean, how do those compare to our enrollment numbers over the last 3 years? Have we seen an increase, decrease, level?
It showed slight increases. That's the beauty, if you will, of the cohort survival model. You look at the historical, I'm going to make it up, but you look at the historical change, say from first grade to second grade each year. Not to follow the class, but to follow the grade change. And if first to second grade, say over the last 3 years, has a historical increase of say 10% from one year to the next, and projecting next year's enrollment, you project it for a 10% increase. And likewise, if they have a trend to decrease 5% over the last 3 or 4 years, then you use that to project the next year's enrollment as well. But they've shown, from what I've seen and from what my predecessor had in his files, it's been slight increases, steady slight increases.
There seems to be, for example, almost 50 student projected increase between this year and next year. I was just wondering, that'd be a pretty big increase for us, right?
It does seem like a lot, but I will say, I'm excited to say that our TK classrooms are full. So we opened a TK classroom DLI at Glenwood, and that's full. And then we opened up a classroom at Taylor. And so when we bring in new TK students, we, we are excited and hope that they stay with us through sixth grade. So I believe, I would anticipate that part of that projection has to do with the TK enrollment that we have, as well as the development on Jesse and then Panhandle.
Okay.
Absolutely. So with that said, here is a very condensed, very summary level MYP. You can see our total revenues, total expenditures, the net change, and then at the bottom, you can see our beginning and ending fund balance for this year and then the 2 subsequent out years. There are certain things that make up the district's ending fund balance, certain pots of money, if you will. There are a total of 5, actually. You can see them across the bottom. There's non-spendable, restricted, assignments, REU, which again is reserved for economic uncertainty, and then unassigned, unallocated funds. Keep in mind, though, that you can only see, bless you, you can only see 4 bars, and that's because the non-spendable is so relatively small. It's only $7,000, so it's not going to show up on the graph, but it is included when the graphs are formulated. So what do we do moving forward? We need to be careful with our expenditures, especially increases, because that's going to affect the district's deficit spending. We need to work to move towards eliminating all our deficits in the budget. We need to make sure we fully expend all grants that are no longer generating ongoing new revenue. We need to ensure that all the funds budgeted for supporting the LCAP are being expended properly. And we need to we will update our MYP projections with information from the May revise that we will attend in May. And then we'll start working on our preliminary work on our 26-27 budget.
I have a question.
Sure.
What is at least one thing that the districts can do to move toward eliminating any and all projected deficits in the district budget? What is at least one thing that we can do to move towards eliminating any and all projected deficits in the budget?
One thing we can do, and I try and do myself anyway, is regular reviews of grant budgets. I try and look. I aim for monthly, certainly quarterly I do, and I look at all the district's budgets, and I always preface it, I'm making up numbers, but if I look and I see our Title I budget is $100,000 and we're halfway through the year and we've already spent, say, 80,000 of it, I might talk to the appropriate administrator and say, hey, just are you aware of this? And let's be sure make sure things are coded properly. Maybe something was coded to Title I in error. It needs to be coded somewhere else, so it doesn't look like we have a deficit in Title I. But I'm using Title I as an example, but I try and do regular reviews of the budgets. I aim for monthly.
I think one of the things, and I think one of the things, the benefits of having a healthy reserve is when we do recognize that we're dealing with less revenue, it gives us an opportunity to take more of a long-term or a midterm look at our spending, and then do our best to try and be able to keep whatever revisions or cuts we need to make away from the classroom. So the thing we can start to be doing, I think, are the things that are already taking place. We're taking a look at the programs that we are implementing. We need to identify the ones that are working and the ones that are not, and we need to make sure resources are going to the things that are adding. And, if we are looking and we do need to make cuts, then they're going to go to programs that are not adding. And a healthy budget, a healthy reserve helps us to be able to do that, to be able to actually take an honest look at those things.
And again, you're exactly right. And to make sure we're getting the most bang for our buck.
Yes.
And that the money is being spent where it's most effective.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, having gone through 8 years of declining enrollment, followed by another 5 years of economic downturn, it is no fun trying to figure out how to do more with less. I appreciate that we're in a position now where we've got the ability to be able to make good, sound decisions. But we've got to make those decisions because I think as you look from the projections, I as the reserves continue to go down, that's like one-time money, right? Once it's spent, it's spent. So we need to make sure that we're doing the best we can to soften, I think that's what we're doing, soften the landing when it comes to whatever adjustments need to be made.
And you don't want to be a district that lives on by relying on the fund balance.
Mhm.
Like you just said, at some point, there's not going to be any fund balance to live on
Right,
if you keep doing that.
exactly.
So in terms
So-
of,
Yeah, 90% of us, I know we want to look at like one, there's no magic bullet. That's the big thing, is there really isn't. I wish there was a magic bullet, but there really isn't.
no, and I think the collective we as districts need to be careful, especially with one-time funds, because you don't want to make commitments using one-time funds that you can't either absorb into the general fund, or when the one-time funds go away, you have to prepare to have those expenditures go away as well.
I think your comments are well said.
Mhm.
We have always worked on a strong reserve, because we knew that at some point we were going to need it. But I like how you worded that. This allows us to make decisions, medium and long-term decisions, but also cushion it,
Yeah.
soften the blow.
And I think also it's about being proactive rather than reactive, or frantic at the last minute. Oh my God, what are we going to do? If you plan ahead, you again, you soften the blow. You don't have to find yourself in the last minute wondering how you're going to make ends meet.
And I think for me, I just want to make sure that our community knows that I just want to make sure that our community knows that we are being mindful and realizing that we are kind of dipping into our reserves, but we are being strategic and mindful about areas where we can make some adjustments so that we're not in a place where we have to like do layoffs and all of those things. So thank you for sharing that.
Oh, sure.
And I hope that, folks out there can, feel that as well. Yeah.
To that note, one of the things I want to make sure to recognize, and I want to really just acknowledge our staff and our collective bargaining units. There's a lot going on throughout the state right now where a lot of folks, there's a lot of districts that are going on strike, and a lot of them are in districts where they're dealing with financial challenges. We have collective bargaining units that work closely with our staff. They understand our position and our condition, and they understand the importance of being committed to the long term and understanding the impact of dipping into reserves. And so this would not be possible. We wouldn't be in a position to be able to make these sorts of really solid decisions if it weren't for our collective bargaining units. So I just wanted to make sure that I recognized their commitment to these values as well.
And this district is so lucky to have such strong relationships. Absolutely. So in terms of a timeline, tonight we're doing the second interim. In May, the superintendent and I will participate or listen or go to the May revised presentation. In June, we will have the two public hearing and adoption meetings for the LCAP and the budget for next year. Excuse me. In July, the adopted LCAP and budget will go to the county. School year will begin in August. In September, I'll present the unaudited actuals for this year to the board. In November, I'll start working on first interim for 26-27. I'll present it in December. In January, we'll get our first look at the 27-28 budget. And then in February, we'll have the audit, which will be for this year, presented to the board. And I'll start working on the district's second interim report for 26-27. And then with that, I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
I haven't answered already.
Any questions?
No questions. Just a comment. We clearly have some decisions to make in the future. I was gonna say we have some tough decisions to make, but we've been making tough decisions all along. So I know that we're gonna get through this. It'll take a lot of work, but I know that we'll get through this because of the attitude that we've had in the past. Because, as you said, we've worked with such strong bonds with our unions, and we do look at this and take it seriously.
I'll also note, like, one of the things you brought up was, the LCAP hearings. Folks, if you're watching, that's an opportunity for you to be involved to help us to understand what your priorities are. So as those meetings come around, we encourage you, come out, participate. We want to hear your voice because, you know, they're your kids that we're working with here. So hearing and knowing what your priorities are as important as anything that we think. So I would encourage you to please participate in that process. And with that, well, we're done. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on now to consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those, it's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. We'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Right, Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion passes unanimously. Now we'll move on to action items. We'll start off with item A, the approval of the 2025-26 second interim report and positive certification.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, we will move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. We'll do a roll call vote. Trustee Cardona? Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item B, adopt dismissal of certain certificated temporary employees, resolution number 941.
So moved. Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Hearing none, we will move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona?
Aye.
Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item C, approve the 2025-26 service agreement with Elvo for structure, lunchtime, and recess activities at Main Avenue, Taylor Street, and Robla School.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded.
Yeah, just to give a little bit context, the three principals felt that it was important to have some support with structured activities during lunchtime to, one, get the students engaged and to really to try to curb behavior that normally happens during lunchtime. So this contract is just for the rest of this year. I believe it's 8 weeks. They will be on campus 3 days a week. Alivo was a company that was a subcontractor through START last year, so they are familiar with our campuses, and our students are familiar with Alivo, and they will determine at the end of the year if this is something they want to continue next year, and they are all using their community school site funds.
Was this one of the companies that we approved last year for? Okay.
Yes, they were one of the companies approved through the RFP, yes.
Thank you.
Now, participation in these will be voluntary. The kids can decide they want to participate, required to participate. How exactly does it work?
Yeah, so the experience I have is they usually have 2 coaches at each site. And what they do is they have structured activities that students can participate in, but as well as train we call them yard duty here, right? And so it helps with, not only just supervision, but engagement. Some of their activities, have social emotional, pieces. So no student will be forced to participate, because I know, especially at Taylor, actually just at Taylor, they have the fields, right? So the kids are on the new fields during recess time, lunch recess time. But this is just an opportunity. And while the fields are attractive, we do recognize that a lot of the behaviors happen during lunch recess time because it's unstructured.
Well, so I've been doing a lot of reading regarding one of the biggest challenges I think some of that we're seeing right now is that they're saying that children nowadays don't have enough unstructured playtime, right? When I say unstructured, I mean these are the times in which, like, I remember when I was a kid, you got together, you made up a game, right? You made up the rules to the game, and you also enforced the rules amongst each other. And part of that is a learning process when it comes to development and relationships and things along those lines. And the challenge is that more and more we're doing less and less of that. Our kids are getting less and less of that as we're becoming more of a commuting culture. Kids aren't getting together and playing in the neighborhood or going out and like we used to hop on our bikes and get on the bike and be gone all day on Saturday and stuff like that. So they're finding that kids are getting a lot less of that. So for me, I also remember, one of the main times that happened was, lunchtime games as a kid. So I'm gonna support this for today, but I really would like to see a better presentation of why they think it's necessary, what value that they think it will bring, and then, how they plan on incorporating that, once again, that same sort of feel and learning that you get from the unstructured play. So that's my 2 cents. Any additional discussion? Debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona? Aye. Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes? Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
And Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Item D, approve 2026-2027 service agreement with Power School Group LLC.
So moved.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion?
Just really quickly, we're excited to bring this to you tonight. It's actually one of the components as we're looking to change how we're doing business in terms of teacher evaluations. This last negotiation cycle, we did a pause for permanent staff members because we're looking to change from our SOAR teaching frames and looking back at the CSTPs, or California Teaching Standards, that is put out by CDE and CTC, or the Commission on Teacher Credentialing. Sorry, acronym soup here. But we are looking to go back to that, and they recently updated the domains on the CSTPs, and so it's looking at effective teaching practices. And this Power School component is the platform that we will use to build our rubrics and our scoring systems and manage our databases of the certificated evaluations as we move forward in this process. It will be replacing the system Frontline. As we worked through Frontline over the last approximately 7 school years, actually, no, it's been a little longer than that, I'm sorry, probably 10, we got a lot of different feedback from administrators and staff alike around the system's capabilities. And so Mr. Penman and I had opportunities to preview Power School alongside other competitors. I will say that Marcos Ornelas and Cheryl Coker, our peer facilitators, did most of the heavy lifting and legwork for us. They did a great job of setting the appointments and finding resources from other districts as we were exploring opportunities. And then they brought us into the conversation as we were looking deeper into each one. Power School will definitely have a lot of flexibility and address the concerns that staff had on the administrative side and also on the teacher side who are using it. And then also on the back end for the peer facilitators and Mr. Penman and I, in terms of like creating the rubrics within the system, making sure everything flows through the database properly.
Any discussion or debate?
No. I just have one question. Thinking about our budget and like how tight it is, I am going to assume that there isn't that much difference between Power School and the system that you've used before.
In the first year, it will be higher because you have that one-time implementation fee, and that's kind of par for the course when you're implementing a new program or system, because they're spending a lot of staff time on their end to train us and set up the system with us. But after that, the difference is a cost of about $4,300 a year, higher, not lower.
Thank you.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a roll call vote. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Trustee Cardona? Aye. Trustee Devine?
Aye.
Trustee Barnes?
Aye.
Trustee Hamilton Starks?
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. Item E, approve the 2026-27 service agreement with Parsec Education for data analytics services.
So moved?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion?
This is a company as it says, that will help with our data collection and analysis. They will create a dashboard that we can easily access and look at academic, local and state assessments, attendance, CBEDs, where we can pull data easier to be able to analyze it and then make some recommendations on how to respond to it. So right now we are limited in our ability to do that.
What kind of data, like test scores or?
Yes, so for academics, they will be able to take CAS data, right? As well as our local data, put them in one dashboard, and I can look and say, I can pull a group of students that are in the after-school program and compare their local data and CAS data, and to see if there's a correlation, of participating in an after-school program or summer school data.
You'll be able to pull out individual students, because wasn't that something that we couldn't do with the previous system we were using?
I will say our current infrastructure has some challenges, some areas of opportunity, and this will make it easier for us to access individual data and group data and student group data easier, right?
Okay.
And this company also provides professional development where they can present the data, which, I don't want them to just present it. I want to build our capacity, but how do you use this platform to be able to extract what I want to extract? So this also, like if I want to run ELs, English language learner data, right? I can easily do that with a dashboard because they will house all that information in one place.
The cover says it starts on March 6th and ends on March 31st, but the contract says it's July to June of 2027.
It's actually, the contract is for 1 year. So technically it's July 1 to June 30th. However, right, with this early approval and we give them the information, they will work to upload all the information and build our dashboard, because the dashboard takes at least, I think, 30 days. I think it was 30 days to build our dashboard. John, does that sound right? Was it 30 days to build our dashboard? Or was it 2 weeks? Okay. A reasonable amount of time. So I would love for them to have our data so we can have access to it for sure by July 1st. But if they started in March, he said he would have to prorate me more. So he's just going to charge us for a year.
Any additional discussion or debate? Hearing none, we'll move forward to a vote. All those in favor, all the yellows in favor say aye. All those opposed say nay. Roll call vote. Trustee Cardona. Trustee Cardona voted aye. Learn to read lips. All right, Trustee Devine.
Aye.
I say aye.
There you go. Gotcha.
I said aye also.
Okay. All right, Trustee Barnes. Trustee Hamilton Starks.
Aye.
Trustee Deleuze votes aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, we're now on to board member requests for future agenda items or reports. And we'll start with Trustee Cardona.
Nothing to request.
Okay, Trustee Devine.
Nothing at this time?
Trustee Barnes.
Nothing at this time, but I will at some point be curious about Alivo.
Trustee Hamilton Starks.
I just want to give a shout out to the students who gave me feedback about their experience in Robla District. They're very cute. They love the teachers and they love their schools. They don't love the pizza, but they love everything else. And so I thank them for their feedback, for sharing, and big shout out to Michelle for all of your hard work today. So thank you so much.
All right, and I have nothing at this time. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending and thank you for watching.